Okay, now the fun part. So last night I took the sheath and I formed it by getting it really wet and then just kind of shaping it around the knife and then stick it in the oven to dry. And so now once it's dry, it's ready to be dyed. And for that, we have this cool stuff, oil dye, which leaked the last time I used it and got all over the place. Not the kind of thing you want to get on your skin, so you always try to use gloves. And to apply it, we use one of these guys, wool dauber. And to start off, we're actually going to do the inside, because although, you know, it's going to be closed off and stitched up, if somebody looked down inside of it, they would still see that it wasn't black. And so you don't want to be cheap. You know, you want something that's really high quality. So for this, just kind of getting it in on every spot. Let me change the angle of this for you. So I'm just applying it. Now this actually looks really bad at first, interestingly enough. As a beginner, when you first start doing this, one of the first things you start doing is panicking, thinking that it's going to look horrible, that you did something wrong. But the reality is that there's a lot more to it than just applying the dye. So, in fact, we're going to do a couple coats of the dye also. Let's do the outside. Get rid of that ugly vegetable tan that it comes with. Even stuff that you typically get that's brown, still dyed. It's not the actual color of the leather. Although you can buy leather that comes with a tan color that's, I mean, when they tan it, it's a certain color. But usually you're going to end up dyeing it yourself. Some of these parts, for example, that strap I just did, is actually going to have to be cut to length, which I won't actually do until everything is done. I guess I could have done it by now at this point, but I'll get to it later once I have everything together more and stitched. That way I kind of know exactly how the sheath is going to come together, so I can get the distance right. And that's where that hole is right there, is where the snap is going to be. And so, sometimes just doing things in the right order really makes this a lot easier. And if you forget a step, sometimes it can be really difficult to remedy. So looks like I missed a couple spots on this guy. And, you know, if you did miss some of it, can always go over it later. But we will get to a point where I have to treat it with different things, different oils and stuff that really helps protect the leather and make it look nicer. And at that point, it'd be a little bit extra burden to have to dye. Well, I guess you could. So let's add a second coat. Really, you want this to get really soaked into the leather. That way it's more permanent. You're never going to have to worry about scratches or rubs ever going below where the dye is and really making it really look bad, because you know you want this to last forever. So I'm just really liberally applying it and let it soak in. It's also important that the leather is dry when you do this. Of course, you don't want to be having it put into, because remember I had to wet the leather. You really don't want to be dyeing it when there's still water in here. Get these areas with an extra coat too, because they will be pretty visible even when the knife is together. Isn't that a transformation? Wow. It's always my favorite part. Basically what I'm going to do now is I'm going to hang this kind of like that off of something. That way it kind of gets a really even dryness to it. If you don't hang it right, it'll kind of look darker in certain areas because of the way the dye falls. So next I'll just be doing the straps, and then after that stitching it together, putting the strap, well, burnishing the edges. I will probably also show a short video on doing that, and then that's almost it.